Good afternoon, everybody. Batten down the patches. It is windy outside here on this Wednesday afternoon, April 13th. Does everybody have their taxes ready? We're drawing up to the deadline. So with Easter weekend, we've extended that until April 18th. So you have a few more days. Maybe if you haven't done it, can work on it over the Easter weekend. But boy, is it windy out there. It is springtime in the Rockies. So don't put your coats and boots away yet. I'm not sure it's sandal weather completely, but let's hope it comes upon us soon. But let's hope it's a kind of a not too warm, because we want a slow melt down of our snow in the mountains to give us some consistent water in the upcoming weeks and months. I want to thank everybody. I'm sorry we had a problem last week. You know, we love technology until it doesn't work. So we were not live last week. So thanks for joining us again today. Because we were not live last week, I do want to give a shout out to the Healthy Archuleta Food Coalition, who had a great event over the weekend. It was the Food Summit Saturday at the Archuleta County Fairgrounds. It was amazing, the number of people that came out, the number of speakers that they had, the information that was shared, you know, anything from backyard gardeners to people that really want to produce food, talking about, again, our water situation, our growing situation. There was just so much information. My head is just bursting, but congratulations to them. It was the first food summit. I think they're looking to do more in the future, and kudos to them. So we're sorry we couldn't have them last week, but they had a good crowd, and we really want to thank them and everybody that worked on that event. It was just fabulous. So another shout out to our library, the Ruby and Sisson Library Fund. And they had a great event last week as well at the library affair. Thanks to all the volunteers and workers that made that event so great. I think one of the major highlights was that we just got to be out and at an event such as that last weekend. We've got events going on all April, the month of April, and that's what we will be talking about later today. But I do want to remind everybody, even with the weather being as cold as it is out there, we are in a flower mood and a beautifying pagosa mood. And so I say this with mixed emotions. I have good news and bad news. The good news is, let's see, for the chamber, the good news is the basket program is just so successful. The community has just embraced this. We've been doing this program for over 20 years, and it has just grown. And I want to thank Pagosa Nursery, and I want to thank Bayfield Gardens. We could not do this program without them. The bad news is we're almost sold out of flowers completely. Our 16-inch baskets are completely sold out. Our 12-inch baskets, we have about 50 left. Now, the big part is I cannot order more. We order these baskets. I ordered them last year. So jump on our website, pagosachamber.com. And if you scroll down to the Chamber and Community News, there's a graphic down there about our Pagosa Pride hanging baskets. Just click that and it will take you to our registration site. If you don't have a computer or you need some help, give us a call, and Kim or myself will be happy to put those into the order process for you. But I really would recommend that you do it fairly quickly, because 50 baskets will go soon. So again, thank you so much to the community for embracing this program and allowing us to, no pun intended, grow every year. Sorry, that was really bad. But It was the only word. But thank you for allowing us to grow this program every year. We're just excited. And I really want to tell people come into the visitor center and they actually comment on how beautiful Pagosa is with all the flowers that we have, our parks and everything. So it wouldn't happen without you participating either on your own or in programs such as the ones that we host. So thank you all so much. Also, while we're on kind of beautifying Pagosa, in the next couple of weeks, we will be talking about the big spring cleanup, which is happening on Earth Day, which is April 23rd. We'll be having guests with us on the radio and live stream about Earth Day and the big spring cleanup. But do know that that is happening. There are so many things going on April 23rd. We also have the Brews for Rescue, which will be happening from noon until about 5 o'clock, and the beer festival that will be going on with that. But we also have Earth Day happening, and we also have the big spring cleanup, which includes, so I'm going to mention this early because you may need to get your recipes out. They are doing a homemade ice cream contest. So make your homemade ice cream and bring it down to Yamaguchi Park to be entered into the ice cream contest. They haven't asked me to be a judge yet, but there's still hope. So ice cream's just my favorite. So maybe they'll let me be a judge. Anyways, get your ice cream recipes out there and ready and enter the ice cream contest, which will also be happening on April 23rd. Stay tuned for more information on that, or look at the Chamber of Commerce article in the Pagosa Sun for more information about all that's happening. But before that, and involved in all sorts of things, including this upcoming weekend and Earth Day, we have probably one of the faces of the GGP, or one of the most notable faces of the GGP, Sally High, who is with us here today, one of the original founders of the Geothermal Greenhouse Partnership, and of course, bringing what is coming this weekend, the Environmental Film Festival, to Pagosa Springs. Welcome, Sally. Thank you for everything that you have done on behalf of growing and water and the GGP and the environment here in Pagosa Springs. Just, you carry that flag well.
Thank you, Mary Jo. And hello, Pagosa. And Mary Jo, it is my honor, my pleasure to continue to work in environmental issues and improving our community. So we have a big film festival coming up for the first time since 2019.
Wow, that's great. Now, Sally, you know, I know it's a small niche, but these are really first-class, first-run films in the environmental industry.
They always are, yes. There's quite a circuit of environmental film festivals around the world, and our Colorado Environmental Film Festival is in the Golden Boulder neighborhood. I partnered with them through Environmental Educators years ago, and GGP has partnered with them for 10 years. We had 7 environmental film festival caravans here in Pagosa Springs, and then we skipped 2 years for COVID, and we're back. We wish we could be at the theater again, but it won't be long. We're at the Tennyson Event Center, and it is from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock this Saturday. Well, the films will begin promptly at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We have 4 feature-length films and 2 shorts. We have a wonderful locavore supper being prepared by another Geothermal Greenhouse Partnership founder. That is Kathy Keys at Pagosa Baking Company. And we're just expecting a great turnout and a really productive day.
Well, Sally, for all these films that are being shown, the price for admission is just amazing, and you can come and go. So how can people get their wristbands or their tickets for the Environmental Film Festival? Oh, I think Sally might be locked up. See?
No,
Oh,
you
there
were
you
last.
are. You're back. So how can people get their wristbands, Sally? Mm-hmm.
There are a few wristbands remaining. Go to pagosagreen.org and don't go to Environmental Film Festival. Take that off. The URL where you can buy your wristband most easily is pagosagreen.org. We put this opportunity out on our homepage. When you go to GGP's website, pagosagreen.org, because we're building a new website. There you go. Thank you so much. We're building a new website. And so all those back pages will remain, but everything's being revamped, redesigned, revitalized. And we're really excited about rolling out that new website sometime later this spring. We have a few wristbands left online. We are restricted in the number of people we can have in the room at any given time. And so if we have wristbands left over, we'll sell tickets at the door. But people have emailed and explained they're coming from a couple from Albuquerque, for example. They want to buy their tickets at the door. So what happens is when I learn information like that, when I learn of the sale of 4 more wristbands, I put the people's names on the list. You come to the Tennyson Event Center and the volunteers will put your wristband on you. And then you can come and go between 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 8 o'clock that evening. This year, we made sure to build into the schedule plenty of break time for folks to use the restroom, to help themselves to something to drink. We have a 45-minute break for supper for that incredible fancy local food supper that we'll be sharing. And also that break time is meant for conversation. We're showing 4 feature films, as you already pointed out. One is about water. It's about water in California. I can tell you more about that. One is about food. It's called In My Backyard. It's a delightful, uplifting film about a nationwide, actually it's a Canadian production, but we'll call it a continent-wide movement toward growing your own food, communities growing in community gardens, and teaching how to grow food with school children and all the things that Geothermal Greenhouse Partnership has been so involved in all these years. We're really pleased. It's a fun little film. Our the film we're going to show right before supper is kind of heavy. It's called 12th Hour, and it is about environmental change and climate change in particular. Of course, you can't talk about environmental issues without involving water and food and wildlife. And so then we'll break for supper. Right before supper, we have a little short film that's delightful to raise our spirits and help us sort of get up out of our seats and serve ourselves. It's called Soil Care is Climate Repair. It's a student-produced film from here in Colorado, and it's just about how care for the soil really does reduce carbon in the atmosphere. It's, again, very uplifting. After supper, we have a second short film produced in Colorado about lynx, our reintroduced lynx populations, which are really thriving in our forests. But you rarely see lynx. Hiking in the forest, even in the wilderness area, lynx are shadows, just stealthy animals. And this is a beautiful film about these incredible native cats one of the producers is Colorado Parks and Wildlife. So it's really short, and it gets us ready for our final film of the evening. This one is delightful. It is called Nature's Big Year. We have such a healthy Audubon birding community here in Pagosa Springs and Archuleta County, and everyone's familiar with that term, a big year, when you reach your goal for a number of bird species identified. Well, Nature's Big Year is about the lockdown year, 2020. Everyone remember 2020?
We try not to, but yes.
Yeah. We locked down and nature woke up. And it's stories from wildlife biologists. This also is a Canadian production. Wildlife biologists and wildlife managers have lots of stories about the resurgence in bird populations, the migration patterns changing around wildlife in general, but the mammals in the forest, but also in the cities. You may have heard anecdotal stories about how the falcons came back to roost in the skyscrapers, and anyway, it's a fun little film. That will end our evening.
Okay. Well, certainly a day people can pick and choose or come for the whole time. It's a comfortable center. You will have beverages, chilled adult, and regular for sale, as well as you mentioned food. And that ticket also includes dinner. So does it not?
It does. It does.
Yeah,
it certainly does.
It's a screaming deal. People can't get that. So I think it's wonderful. Sally, quickly before we go off the air, is GGP doing anything for Earth Day, since a lot of the activity will be down and around the Riverwalk and in Centennial Park?
Yeah, it's my understanding that GGP is sort of ground zero for the organization that will stretch along the Riverwalk in Centennial Park. Dozens of nonprofits. I wasn't an organizer this year. I've got my hands full with the film festival, but there's plenty of parking down there. And I wish I could name off for you some of the nonprofits, but some of the nonprofits that will at the film festival are at the water exhibit table, the Water Conservancy District, the Watershed Enhancement Partnership, Growing Water Smart, the Friends of the Upper San Juan, who will be producing a cruise-a-thon this summer, I'm happy to say. The food exhibit table is Farmers Market, Food Coalition, Healthy Archuleta, Grow and Give, so many of the organizations that really gelled that fabulous food summit last Saturday. And then there'll be a biodiversity table with the Southwest Colorado environmental educators, and led by film festival sponsor Wimanooch Audubon Society and Audubon Rockies. So that's all at the film festival. And then the following weekend, all of those organizations and so many more will be down on the Riverwalk for Earth Day.
Great. Okay. Well, this is exciting. Again, everybody seems to be kind of coming out and back to gathering and to the events that we love and enjoy. So thank you for hosting this Environmental Film Festival. Really, the films that are shown are just so thought-provoking and uplifting. It's a great event. I can't encourage people to attend strongly enough. So, yes, ma'am.
Just thank you to all our sponsors. The business community has been incredibly generous for Geothermal Greenhouse Partnership, revitalizing our programs, our education, our landscaping, and so forth. Thank you to Pagosa Springs businesses, and to viewers who may not know, we are the 3 greenhouses in Centennial Park, and so much more. We are a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and we really appreciate you. Thank you, Mary Jo.
All right. Well, everybody head on out this weekend if you can. Again, there's some young adult produced films, and I think it's pretty appropriate for everybody. So bring your families if you can, or take a date night out and see a couple movies, not just one, but see a couple movies at the Environmental Film Festival this Saturday, 2 to 8 p.m. at the Tennyson Event Center. Thank you again, Sally, for joining us. Everybody, we're out of time. We will see you next week. Like I said, don't put your coats away yet. It's pretty blustery out there, but it's still a beautiful day in Pagosa Springs. And don't forget, order your flowers as quickly as you can. Thanks for joining us. We're glad that technology worked for us today, and we'll see you next week, next Wednesday on MJ Livestream. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next week. Have a great week, everyone.